A party like this has taken a long time to get organized because it took a long time to do some of the things that folks, including our own staff, wanted to do to this park and with this park. This is a big, beautiful park. It's even more beautiful now that DPW and Water and Sewer have gotten involved, and it will continue to get nicer. And Mrs. Bednar, who's in charge of all the construction, along with Scott Chabot and her staff, is going to tell you about some of the things that are here now and some of the things that are going to be coming very shortly. And again, the entire Township Board is very happy about everything, and we want to continue this progress. So, Mrs. Bednar?
So first of all, I'd like to thank the board for support on these projects, and then also the Prince Drury Committee, who has been instrumental in talking about what does this community want and where we want to go with this park and making it more viable and usable for people in the neighborhood. So thank you guys for supporting these efforts and doing that. I really appreciate it. And I know the community really appreciates it as well. So what have we done recently? Well, last year we started a construction project of a pathway that goes around the perimeter of the park. This pathway from beginning to end is approximately a half mile. If I could have added a couple feet, we would have had it exactly a half mile. But it's fair to say you can go a half mile around the perimeter of the park. Why is that good? Because people like to be able to go around and know what they did. So if you go twice, you got your whole mile in. The other thing that's important is because quite a bit of activity happens here. We have different activities, fields being used, and when those fields are used, parents can walk, still be close near the football players or the soccer players or whoever's using the area, the baseball fields, but they still can get their exercise in. They're not just passively watching. They can actually, exhibit some of those physical features and movement and so forth. So that was kind of the biggest project that we've done recently. But when the contractor was out here working on the pathway, he came to us and he said, I'm doing some other projects in some school districts, and I have a lot of dirt. And I would like to donate this dirt to this park so that we can level out the fields that are behind us right here. These fields had holes in it. We had drainage issues and so forth. So we worked in partnership with this contractor who basically donated all of the dirt and then regraded it as part of this contract with the pathway so that we could make the park even a nicer place and these fields more usable for the people in the neighborhood. What do we have coming up? This year, we budgeted $200,000 for park improvements for the playgrounds as well as other amenities. We also applied for a grant to see if we could get some matching funds for this playground equipment. Just a couple weeks ago, we found out we received the grant, and we have been working the last couple weeks with the grantor on this grant to be able to upgrade the play structure here, but also the tot lot area with the swings and so forth. Ideas that we're doing in this park with these new playgrounds is what they call, graduated play. What that is this playground is going to complement this playground. So kids using this playground at 2 to 5 years old will be doing similar things, balancing and so forth, but closer to the ground so they can succeed and do well on this playground so that when they're older and they can come to this playground, they're going to do similar things a little bit higher and they can succeed right off the bat. So it's graduated. The other thing we're doing is putting a fitness stations around this loop that we just talked about. So that, again, as the adults or children are walking around, they can, do pull-ups or sit-ups and so forth. I don't have a lot of exact details on that yet. We literally met yesterday and came up with these concepts of this graduated play concept and so forth. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have something to unveil that will be exciting to show the committee as well as the board so that we can move forward with this improvement there. So that's kind of a nutshell what we're doing here in the park right now and what we're going to be doing in the very near future.
Thank you, Mary. Last weekend we had the Quinn Road reunion. Now, those who don't know what that is people who have lived here for years on Quinn Road or near Quinn Road come back and have a big party. And they loved the way the park now looks. And they know it's going to continue to get better. I'm very familiar with that because my wife grew up on Quinn Road. She's the daughter of John, who owned John's Market, and she grew up in the back of the store, right down the street. Some of you probably remember that, if you're my age. Now, Mark Hackle is here, but Mark, before he came, did a couple laps to make sure that the half-mile track is good. Mark is one of the most active politicians or anybody that I know. Mark, I know you would like to say a few words, especially as something so nice as the improvements in the park.
Actually, it was funny when Mary was talking about that. She says this newer park here is going to complement this older, and she hesitated for a second. And I'm sitting there thinking, was she about to say these guys or what? And she's talking about this park over here. Robbie Parker Elementary, I got to tell you, I have fond memories of this. And the reason for it is a little boy that I took care of for quite some time. He lived in and around this neighborhood. Nicholas was his name. He went here, and I remember the kite days they would have out and around this area. And it was actually a lot of fun. I know you guys were here, too, for that kite day. So, but if you think about it, I mean, it's that quality of life opportunity. As kids, when we grew up, we loved to have things that were in our backyard. And there was a really great connection we had with the playgrounds at our schools. And if you think about it, this is kind of an extension of the playground of the school. That's where we had most of our fun. That's where we did everything. I mean, when school was out, we were on that playground, makeshifting our own baseball games and whatever we decided to do. But this is important, and I think Clinton Township does a great job at this. You know, whether it's the waterway access that they provide, you know, with some of the paddle access for kayaking and paddleboarding in and around the Clinton River, the parks that they're opening in and around this township, giving those amenities to the public is incredible. And even those that maybe have different challenges, you know, making sure there are parks available for everyone. And so credit to Mary, credit to the board, credit to you, Bob, for what you're doing here in Clinton Township, because let's face it, there's 27 municipalities that make up Macomb County. Every one of them is distinct, unique in their own little way, but all those characters are really what kind of bring people to Macomb County. We have continued to see the growth in Macomb County, not only for people wanting to live here, people wanting to recreate here, but people want to bring their business here. So these things really do make a difference in a community. And again, I thank you for continuing to make Macomb County shine because of what you're doing here in Clinton Township. So congratulations to y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
You bet. Thank you.
Mrs. Bednar forgot something, so she's got to come back.
When we're done with the ribbon cutting, I am challenging whoever would like to walk with me at least one loop around the park. It's a half mile, but I'd like to, and I can maybe even explain more of what we're looking at for the playground and some of the other things. So we won't go very fast, so everyone is welcome. And I believe I'm going to have an escort, so we can do that. So please, after the ribbon cutting, join us in that inaugural walk around the path.
I believe we have some folks who have tributes. If they'd like to bring them up, they're certainly welcome to. We're always happy to get tributes here. And by the way, our staff deserves it.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Representative Alicia St. Germain. I just think this is wonderful. I love to drive by here on the way to Target and see all the kids playing outside. I think it's great, and to have that bike path, what a wonderful addition. I know how important that is. I'm fortunate enough to live over by the Freedom bike path at Metro Beach over there. I'm on that bike path as much as I can when I'm not in Lansing. So after this presentation, I'll challenge my colleagues for a race around. I'm a little competitive. We're going to race around. Okay, we'll just stick to the cornhole. Fair enough? But on the behalf of Michigan, this is a tribute on behalf of Senator Kleinfeld, Senator Hertel, myself, Representative Aragona, and Denise Menser.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all you do.
All right. Well, Bob, I'm so glad that you acknowledged Clintondale Schools, because one of the things that I think we need to say is this could not have happened without the Clintondale School District actually donating some of the land that is next to Parker Elementary here. And while we think about that, we think about continuous park improvements. One of the first improvements that happened here, you cannot separate this area of Clinton Township with Clintondale Schools. As a fellow graduate, 1988, go Dragon, once a Dragon, always a Dragon. And so if you look as you're touring the park, you're going to see the basketball courts over there. And the painting that was done, it was a small thing. It was an inexpensive thing, but it creates a sense of community and a sense of pride and a sense of connectedness with that school district. And so I just wanted to mention that as one of the first improvements that here, this is going to be continuous improvement, and we appreciate all the people that joined in to help make it happen. Thank you.